Warning Army, we've got Dull Knives live at the Metropolitan. Let's go. Hey there, I'm back from my respite, and I appreciate your patience, and thank you for being here. We're going to do something a little bit different tonight. I'm going to play Dull Knives, which I have not heard, and then following that, I'd like to watch with you Dany's rig rundown. Where she explains what she uses and why she uses it. So I thought that would be interesting. It's not real long. It's about 8 minutes long. If you want to stick around for that, great. I'll go ahead and make comments about the song before we get into that in case you want to cut out early. Okay, so without any further ado, let's rock.
That's in my veins, I can't control it. Tell me why. This voice that's in my head is getting stronger. Tell me how. The aching in my bones is taking over. Tell me why. My blood is feeling red, I'm freaking out. Feeling for nothing at all. Choosing deeper, slipping through my fingers. Tell me why it's ripping up my skin. Can't take it back now. Tell me how am I supposed to understand? Oh, help me, tell me why. I hate to live like this. Can't save me now. Feeling for nothing at all.
Again, incredibly tight. And I return to that time and time again because power trios require that. Absolutely do not have a choice. If you've ever been to a nightclub and you've heard the band sound kind of noisy or jangly when they come off the stage, that's because they're not tight. They haven't got all their screws tightened down. And typically that begins with the rhythm section. That's bass and drums. So if Pow and Ale are not on the money, it gets jangly. All right, and Dany will be looking for footing amongst what's happening in the song. You don't hear that with them. Their separation is incredibly awesome. It just is. You can hear everything the bass is doing, everything Pow is doing on those skins, and everything Dany's doing. And Dany's got a lot of the characteristics that I had in my 20s in a power trio, and it's because of being in a power trio. And what I'm talking about is characteristics of playing. Things like she's got her picks taped down her microphone stand because she can't drop a single chord. She can't drop a note. So if she drops a pick, she's got to grab another one right now. That's something I always did. I always kept a line of picks ready. The way she plays her chords, the full chords, I think I talked about this in another video. Those full chords allow her to have that big sound, and she's always looking for that. She's going to look for that big sound. I'd venture to say her strings are heavier gauge than what I used to use a real heavy gauge string, but that was because I was in a power trio. First of all, you need them to be dependable and not break on you all the time. And the second thing was, and that was in my mind, I don't know if that's true even, but the second thing is you can really hammer them. You can hammer the hell out of them and get, just rock as hard as you can, and you don't have to worry about getting a tinny sound out of your high end or anything. All the mids are out there just in everybody's face. And she gets that sound in spades. I mean, absolutely tears it up when she's playing. And I don't know what that PRS that she's running is running for a pedal, but that sustain, oh my God. I don't know if that's the guitar or if she's got a pedal for that sustain, but that sustain was awesome because it didn't lose. It wasn't falling off much at all. It was just really hanging in there, nice and loud and nice and long. And I thought, boy, I got Les Paul and I can get sustain, but that was next level. It really was. So another tight performance, packaged up. All the loose ends are gone. There's nothing there to distract or take away from the song. The song is powerful. It's got a punch like the blunt end of a hammer, and that's the way it should be. If you're going to play rock and roll, which is what they play, hard rock, then you got to have that Thor's hammer right there in the middle of the stage, and they get that. So I love listening to them play. It takes me back to when I played in power trios. It reminds me of the things that I used to, have to deal with, and the things you fear before you go on stage, and the things that surprise you when you are playing, and you learn new things as a guitarist and as a performer or a singer even. So yeah, that was a great song. In fact, I liked it enough that I think that'll go into my playlist. So now, having spoken about the song, I'd like to take a look at Dany's gear because it's been intriguing me since we started watching her. And we'll do that right now. And let's listen to Dany. I'm assuming she's going to be the one telling us what she uses.
Hey everybody, I'm Dany from The Warning. I'm the guitar player and singer of the band. We're super excited to be headed out on tour promoting our newest single, which is called More. Go ahead and listen to it. And today, I'm going to be taking you through one of my guitars. Well, a lot of them. But first, this amazing PRS guitar. She's my baby. This is a custom 2408 guitar. She was my first PRS guitar, and I completely fell in love with her during the pandemic. I was kind of like in this dating sense in guitars. I was really trying to find out where I was the most comfortable, and I found it right here with this beautiful baby. I take her everywhere. She's been with me through a lot of tours, and this is like my main go-to guitar, which is super cool because if you see here, we have, this is like the cool thing about the Custom 2408. We have the split coils, which you can have different combinations of pickups between all the different settings. We have this double switch here, and I did a little bit of modification. This is really new, but look at this. If I click on this switch, we get some LED lights in here for when everything goes dark. I will not lose my way. It's just very, very cool. You know, even though we're a super rock and roll band, most of my the tunings of the songs are in E standard. I usually go all the way in tone, all the way in volume, because I'm the only guitar on stage, so I want to be as loud and as clear as possible. Also with the bridge pickups. And here, I really like to use both my humbuckers to like the most I can, right? I have some parts with cleans that I will go up here, but usually I just leave it like that. I like to play that with that more around in the studio, but for live purposes, that's usually where I just like go all out. For the strings, I use 1046. These are the Audio strings, NYXL. And yeah, they're thinner strings because I have a tiny hand, but it's all good. They rock just as hard. So yeah, those are the strings that I use. So I really hope.
Now, I know she said those were thinner strings, but 10s are actually pretty heavy if you have to play lead. So a 10 is a good compromise between, you know, just a straight up rhythm guitar string set or a lead guitar. Like now I run 9s. Because I play more lead now than I used to. But when I was in power trios, I always ran 10s. That way I would not break them. But it sounds like what she's saying is she ran the 10s on her big, you know, her wound strings up there, 4, 5, and 6. And then on her unwound strings, she's running a lighter gauge. And so I didn't catch what she said. I thought she said 10 to 46, which is a little lighter on the unwound side. Probably lighter than I would have ran because I kept breaking G strings, but that was probably a result of having cheap guitars back then. So let's let her talk. But I love the way she talks about her guitars because same way that I do. You know, this thing here does this and gives me this bigger sound, you know. And of course, there's plenty of guitarists that would tell you that's the whatever phase shifted, what, you know. I don't know any of that stuff. I just, like I said, I just drive it and put gas in it.
I don't cry when I tell you the story about this guitar. So this is a Gibson Explorer that was gifted to me last year by one of my idols, Lizzie Hale. It's an incredible story because I was waiting for a guitar change from my guitar tech mid-show, and then I realized that he comes to take my guitar but he doesn't give me anything back, and I was just like, oh my god, what's happening? And then before I knew it, Lizzie Hill comes running on stage with this guitar and just like hands it to me. I was like, you're kidding. I thought she was lending me one of her guitars because it looks like really, really similar. But then after the show, I was just like, I couldn't believe it. And she told me like, that is for you, and it was specifically made with the things that you like, your strings, this pickups, which yes, I love. And honestly, I still can't believe it. I take it everywhere with me because one of the things that she says, like, it's for you, please rock as hard as you can with it, and that's what I plan to do. I use this guitar very much the same as I use my PRS guitar. The only difference in this is that I had to like get used to the size of it. The first day I played it, I already nicked it. Oh my god, it has some battle scars. I'm not used to the dimensions, but I love it. All right. This one has a very similar story to the Explorer, which is crazy to think about. I just got this last month from the one and only Matt Bellamy from Muse. They have been my idols since I could remember. and we were talking about guitars, and at one point he just goes like, "What's your favorite color?" And I was just like, I panicked. I just said yellow. I was just like, "But what kind of yellow?" It's like mustard yellow. Before I knew it, I have a one-of-a-kind Manson mustard yellow guitar. It's the only one that exists in this color, but the model is an Onyx 6 because of the 6 strings. It's fairly new in the Manson world. I'm just trying it out. I'm testing it out live to see what are the songs, what are the tunings that I can use on it, and overall I'm still getting used to it, but it's gonna be my new best friend. I know it. We're gonna have great times together. And I also love the inverted headstock here. It's just like, ooh, nice. So overall, really, really love this guitar, and I can't wait to play it more. This is the pick that I use.
It also has the through the body string set up, so you run your strings from the back side of the body through the body and then up to the headstock. And I also notice it's a very stripped down guitar, which is cool when you play power trio stuff because you don't need a lot of fancy stuff. You know, you're playing straight ahead hard rock usually. I mean, power trios are designed to, in my mind, for hard rock, very hard rock. Even metal, if you can get away with it, for largeness of sound. And with today's electronics, I think you can. But yeah, I thought that's a pretty cool guitar, actually. Now, I could never play that guitar, and the reason is because of where the volume knob is. It sits right below the string setup, right below the bridge, and I keep my pinky out when I play. It's a habit I picked up when I played acoustic guitar, and I've never been able to break myself of that habit. Never really had a need to, but it's why I don't play Fender, because I keep turning myself down with the pinky. I don't mean to do it. I just keep doing it. I know people say, well, take the knob off, but that doesn't allow me to play with the volume when I want to. So I generally shy away from a guitar with a setup like that, but that's a beautiful guitar. There's no two ways about it.
It's a big stubby from Dunlop, and it's very funny. This is usually a jazz pickup, but I love how the grip feels on it, and honestly, this was made for me. Even though the sound could be a little bit harder with other picks, I really like this one because I feel like at the end of the day, the more comfortable you are with what you're playing, the better. So, yeah. Welcome to my battle station. This is a Kemper Profiler pedal board, which I control every single song that I have on here. I have all the different titles of all of our songs. Oh, let me find our new single. Wait. There it is, more. What I love about this, it doesn't sound digital at all. I've had different types of pedal boards throughout the years, but I love the Kemper because it's very, very organic sounding. I'm not gonna lie, to build this beauty took me a while. The cool thing about the amps and cabinets that I'm using is that they have been profiled, and those are David Bendit's amplifiers and the ones that we used to record our latest album because he was our producer. And I love that I can use the exact sound that I had for the recording and give it new life for the live version. So that is absolutely amazing to me. I usually have 4 different settings. We have the clean one, I go to my main one, and my main one are the chunky ones. That's are the things I use to do my palm mute, so they're a little less behind in gain so that they don't feedback a lot. Then I have like my big sound, which usually I add a harmonizer to it, which I'm the only guitar on stage, so I like to have a low octave as well, so I can just kind of grow super big, and that's my whammy one. I usually have a bridge one, which has a little bit more delay and reverb on it, so that it kind of like breathes a little bit more, and that's usually all that I do in basically each song. I actually have some songs that I love to play with the expression pedal and just going an octave higher, so I would just like play a note and go and in solos, that's really, really cool. I don't use a lot of whammy in general for solos. It's just not my thing, but here is where I use it. I do not have a guitar plugged in. I'm just realizing that, so I can't show you, but in this one I use the expression pedal a lot for that. Since I'm already using an amp over here. I do not find the necessity of having one here.
That that workstation she has, I had one like it. It was a line 6, and you could pre-program every song that you wanted to play in advance, so that you would have whatever setup you needed between your amp and your guitar. And so that's what she's explaining, is that every time she goes to another song, she just clicks on one of the buttons. She already knows in her head which one that's going to be, and it dials up the sound for that song. And the fact that she can put the studio sound into that pedal board is pretty freaking awesome. I mean, if you know anything about Angus Young, his guitar playing, he had like 24 Marshalls sitting backstage, and in order to get this big sound that he was getting in the studio, it's like, wow, what electronics can do today. Now I guess we're going to look at her power amp.
But I love to hear my amp on stage. I love to feel the sound of the guitar. So I usually go through this pedal baby, which is just a preamp, into the cab so I can have my sound here. And the pedal board goes straight into the front of house console and just blast it out through the PA. Thank you for watching, everybody. You can watch our content on The Warning Rock Band on Instagram. We're The Warning on Facebook and everywhere else. So thank you so much, and keep on rocking.
Now that was cool. She's a sweetheart. And she's also, I mean, everything she said about what she was doing there resonated with me, because it's exactly how I would have explained it, especially when I was back in my 20s. And that thing she said there at the end, she likes to hear herself on stage. For me, that was always important, because there's something about the music coming from behind you, right? It's okay if the vocals are out front. I don't need them. You know, I need the bass player and the drummer. And you can always hear the drummer, even though they're mic'd. And you can always hear the bass player. He's everywhere. I mean, he or she's everywhere. They fill up the room. So for the guitarist, if you want to be an equal on stage in a power trio, it's nice to have that sound behind you. It motivates you, and it tells you what you're doing instantaneously. But like she said, for the sound for the audience, that goes through the pedal board, and I'm sure the pedal board splits to her preamp so that she can hear herself, but the other part goes out to the audience, and that's where they get that molded sound from that pedal board. So that was a really cool rig rundown. I enjoyed that very much. I hope you did too. I just thought it'd be something nice for us to watch together. Okay, so bring me some suggestions, what you want to hear next. I'm loving this band. I'm loving everything about them. I'll look for some rig rundowns for POW in LA as well, if you like this segment here. For me, it's interesting to know what they're doing. What are they doing on stage, and how are they doing it? How do they pull off that gigantic sound they have for just 3 people? And we're already beginning to see the tip of that iceberg. And Dany explaining to us, you know, everything she does is about that big sound. And when she was talking about that pick, it's a jazz pick, yeah, and it gives a smoother sound. It's got those bevel edges, and so you can't quite get the bite that you can get with a more flat, you know, a flatter pick. But that's what gives her that signature sound she's got. That I've been hearing and been saying her guitar is so smooth, you know, right? It's smooth sounding. Well, that's why, or that's a big part of why. The other part, obviously, is her talent and the guitars that she's using, and the pedal board, and all that stuff goes together. And over the years, Dany has learned she knows what she wants. It's in her head. It was probably always there, but she had to search and combine things till she got what she was looking for. And it sounds to me like she has. So that was a cool rig rundown. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll talk to you next time. It was great seeing you. Okay, bye now.